Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kai here. I hope everybody is well. And today I am doing a tier list. Now, I know what you might be saying. A tier list for Destiny? I don't play Destiny. Well, I want you to start playing Destiny. I know most of my viewers aren't Destiny players, and you're probably just going to click right off this video because it doesn't concern you. But I would appreciate if you could stay and watch and drop a like and a sub. It really means a lot to me, and I hope everybody is doing well. But we are going to get right out onto the list here. So at number one, we have the Duke Mark 44. The Duke is a 110, and unlike other hand cannons, it has the slowest TTK, all 110s. It does have some nice perks that would be nice on a 140 or a 150, but alas, it is not one of those. You can 2-tap with Rampage or Kill Clip, and if you have Outlaw, Kill Clip is more viable, but Rampage is probably the preferred role. Outlaw Rampage. So I feel like the Duke is one of the best 110s with its perk selection, but I still feel like 110s are pretty bad. So that is going to go into C tier. Next we have Sturm, another 110. And I know what my Destiny fans might be saying. Sturm in Season of the Worthy, yeah, I don't see it much. I don't see Sturm much either, but the few times that I have seen it, the players have been not the highest of skill, and I feel like sidearms are in a good position right now in the PvP meta, so I feel like I should include Sturm. Sturm is another 110 that can also 2-tap with, but the reason that I'm going to put Sturm in the D tier is because you need to use double primary. You need to be using Drang or Callous Drang, whatever the heck it's called, to get a kill, and then switch over to Sturm, and that only gives you one bullet to get a 2-tap. So I don't feel Sturm is that strong when I'm going to put it into D tier. Next we have the Optative. It is a 180 hand cannon that came out in Season 8 of Season of the Undying. And the only reason I'm putting a 180 hand cannon on here, along with a few others, is because this 180 has very strong roll of Outlaw Kill Clip, and that allows it to function like a 150, where 3 taps to the head, but it's a 180. So I feel like this gun can compete. You just have to be able to hit your shots. Now you can also get stuff like rapid hit on it, so you can get the higher stability. But since this gun is actually pretty competitive with its perk selection, it is going to go into B tier. Ace of Spades. I'm not going to say anything about this gun. I'm going to put it straight into S tier. The Ace of Spades is a 140 that can 2-tap because it basically has Kill Clip. And I know what you might be saying, oh, these are the 110s or 140s and stuff. They can also 2-tap, but the Ace has the highest range out of most any hand cannon, and its Kill Clip ability, it's just really good. It gives you 6 bullets, so you can run around the map, and unlike actual Kill Clip, it doesn't waste if you don't kill anybody. So Ace of Spades is very, very, very strong. Next up, we have the Austringer. I don't like the Austringer. I'm just going to say that. I think the perks on it are not that good. Outlaw Rangefinder probably being your best bet, because I don't think it might have Rampage, but I don't use the Austringer. I don't think that it's better than the Ace, and I think that you're way better off using a 150 like a Spare or a Dire Promise. The Austringer is just not that strong. If you like 140s, then you can give it a go, but it doesn't have any damage dealing perks, so I don't think the Austringer is that good. But we are going to put it into B tier for being highly used, and yeah. Next up, we have Dire Promise. Dire Promise got a reroll this season. It got random rolls to it, so it is got a lot of new perks, but personally, I don't see the appeal to Dire Promise. It's got stuff like Opening Shot, Rangefinder, and Outlaw, but it has Rampage as a damage-dealing perk. It doesn't have Kill Clip or anything like that. Yes, it's the 150 that you can farm for easily, unlike Spare Rations or something like that, but it doesn't have very high base stats, and there are just guns better on it with the random rolled masterwork, unlike stuff like Rose, which has a pre-built range masterwork. I don't like Dire Promise that much, but since it's a 150, we're going to put it in B tier. Next, we have the Last Word. Last Word got a nerf this season, and I don't think that it is as viable as it used to be, because now you can't ADS. Last season, Last Word was the only thing in my inventory paired with my beloved with Quick Draw Snapshot. That thing was the only thing I used. It was really good. But now that when you ADS, your damage gets like cut in half, and you have to be really close with it. I don't think Last Word is as good as it is as good as it used to be, but I still think that if you practice with it this season, it can be really good. I just haven't put much into it because I've moved on to 150s. So here we have Better Devils, and if anybody played year 1 of Destiny 1, you'll remember how insane this thing was. That was back before I actually like read stats on this game, so I was like, oh, a hand cannon, that's pretty good. I like hand cannons. Better Devils right now is a 140, and I feel like that's really what's holding it back, because it's got some strong perks with explosive payload and outlaw, stuff like that. Explosive payload being really, really good for denying people to heal if they're sitting behind a wall or something. But just because it's a 140, I don't feel like it can compete. It doesn't have the same range as something like an Austria. So the Better Devils is the random old version is going to go into C tier. Next, we have the True Prophecies, which also got random rolls this season, or True Prophecy, whatever it is. This is a 180 hand cannon that I'm only putting because it's new, and I've seen it a lot in the Crucible, because maybe new lights or whatever. I don't like this hand cannon. 180s are just not good in the Crucible right now. It's very probably PvE built, and I don't see its utilization, so it's going to go into the D tier. Here we have Rose. Rose is a very strong 150 that you get by doing the beginning to the Lumina quest, or Lumina, and it's got nice base stats. Not as good as Spare Rations, but if you complete the Lumina quest, it gets a range master work, and Rose is a very, very like crisp weapon. It just feels nice to hit your shots with it, so I like the Rose a lot. We are going to put the Rose in A tier for being an easy to get 150 with some nice stats. Next, we have Lumina. Normally, I would put Lumina in the D tier because it's just really, really bad. But with its Catalyst, giving it 2 noble rounds instead of 1, I feel like that bumps it up to C tier. And since Lumina is a 150, I feel like I'm just going to move it into C tier for being okay. There are better weapons, a lot better weapons. But Lumina, if you're going for a healer build, or maybe Middle Tree Dawnblade, you should be able to rock with it. Next, we have Not Forgotten, which the Not Forgotten is still very good on console, but this is more PC affiliated, so that is what I'm going to base it on. Not Forgotten is a very good hand cannon that gets, it's a very good energy hand cannon that I feel like gets overshadowed by a couple others. Not Forgotten used to be really good, but then they moved it down to 150 and basically made Maghal terrible by making it so you could 2-head, 1 body shot instead of 2-tap, because Bungie doesn't like having things that are good in the game. So, Not Forgotten has a 180 recoil animation, which basically pulls me away from the gun, because I hate how 180s feel, and it feels just like a 180, except it does damage of a 150 and shoots like a 150. So, I don't like the Not Forgotten. I have like 20 kills on it. Unlike my Luna's Hall, which I have like 450 kills on because I thought Not Forgotten would never leave my inventory. But I was wrong. Not Forgotten, just for being a 150, which can 2-tap to the head and then 1 body, is going to go into B tier. Next, we have the Nation of Beasts. The Nation of Beasts can roll with a... Actually, this is probably going to sound weird and not very amazing. The Nation of Beasts is a energy 140 that rolls with Outlaw, Rampage, or Outlaw Explosive Payload. And I mentioned Explosive Payload because it's very, very good for denying people to heal. If you want an energy primary that is just like the Better Devils, or just like the Austringer, so you can run it with something like Provoker or an Astral Horizon, if you like 140s for some reason, this is your gun. It's very good, and while it has one contender that probably stomps it out of the park, if you can't get a good roll on the other weapon, that being the Kindled Orchid, this is your gun. It's kind of hard to get, but if you just do the Shuro-Chi farm every week on reset, you should be able to get it. I'm going to throw this into C tier just because it's a 140, and I don't feel like 140s are very strong. But if you want one in your energy slot, that's probably a good one. Next up, we have Thorn. Thorn is really good. It's a 150 that can 2-tap to the head and 1 body, basically a better version of the Not Forgotten. Fires like a 150, which is very, very crisp. And if you get the Soul Devourer proc, you can 2-tap to the head. So Thorn is very strong right now. And I'm going to put Thorn in the S tier because it has some very high damage and the lingering damage effect, the burn, just a nice people to heal. I think it's really good. Next up, we have the Ancient Gospel. Ancient Gospel is another 140 energy hand cannon, and I see this one a little bit, but I feel like it's a lot better in PvE. The Ancient Gospel has a lot of really good perks, so practically any roll you get out of the 4 perks in both slots will be good. But I just don't feel like the Ancient Gospel can really compete against some of the other 140s, and definitely not against some 150s. So for that, I'm going to put the Ancient Gospel in C tier. Next up, we have the DFA. The DFA is a 140 primary, and I don't like 140s, but it has Rampage and I think Drop Mag for really, really fast reload on a 140, which is nice because most have abysmally slow ones. The DFA is not easy to farm, but I just got it about a week ago. I racked in about 150 kills on it. I don't really like it. It feels just clunky. I don't like how it shoots. But if you want a nice primary weapon with Rampage and a fast reload, kind of different from the Austringer, then the DFA is where you should go. But I'm going to put the DFA to C tier. Most hand cannons are C tier because they can't compete with A, S, and even B tier. Spare Rations. I don't have much to say other than Spare Rations, other than it is the best hand cannon right now in the Crucible. Amazing perks. Rapid hit, slide shot, rage masterwork, ricochet rounds, sure shot is just the best roll. Personally, I have a slide shot and then rangefinder roll, so it's not amazing. And I have like stability masterwork. Stability isn't bad, but I have about 600 kills on Spare Rations, so I think I know my way around the gun. High base stats, amazing perk selection with rapid hit, slide shot. And I just think Spare Rations is definitely the king of primary hand cannons in PvP right now. Next, we have the 7th Serif Officer. So, the 7th Serif Officer is a 180, which is going to make me put it in the D tier. I see it a lot because it is a hand cannon that's easily farmable. So maybe new lights who just bought this season are like, oh, a hand cannon that shoots quick. Maybe it has a high TTK, stuff like that. They don't really know around the game. It's not good. Terrible perks for PvP. Pretty bad for PvE, even. Don't use this weapon. I'm being serious. Don't use it. Next, we have the Sunshot. And the Sunshot is a AoE damage 150 that makes people explode. It's like Dragonfly, except even on body shot kills. Sunshot without the catalyst would be a C tier, but Sunshot with the catalyst gives it a lot of range and gives it really high stability, which is what this gun needs. So we are going to put the Sunshot in B tier. I feel like it sits well there, and it's not super good, but it's viable. And if you need an energy hand cannon, definitely pull that one out of collections. Next, we have the Kindled Orchid. This is the gun I was talking about earlier. Kindled Orchid. Amazing damage dealing perks. You can get Kill Clip, you can get Rampage, stuff like that. It's easily farmable with the forges. So Kindled Orchid is it's a 140, but you can get stuff like Quick Draw Explosive Payload, which is really nice for pairing with like a Mountaintop or a Revoker. So we're going to put this in A tier. It's really, really good. Next, we have the Loud Lullaby. This is another 110 hand cannon that only can run with like Rampage, so it can 2-tap and stuff like that, but it doesn't have very high range, not as high as at least something like the Duke, and it has abysmally slow reloads. I've racked in about 50 kills with this thing in the Crucible before I just decided to vault it, so it's going to go into D tier. Crimson. I thought the Crimson was terrible until about maybe a week or two ago. Then I started using it. I got about 20-30 kills with it in about 2 matches, and I don't think it's terrible. It's definitely not better than a lot of the 150s, but if you can hit your shots with this thing, it's a laser. It feels really nice to get kills, and the kills give your health back. So if you're good with burst weapons and you also like how a hand cannon feels, even though this is practically a hand cannon pulse rifle, Crimson is your way to go. I'm going to put it into B tier. Luna's Howl. I didn't say this for the quest about Not Forgotten, and I probably, if I have to say, I'd move it down to C tier now. You know what? We're probably going to do that. The quest for Not Forgotten involves you getting Luna's Howl. And Luna's Howl, by itself, is very difficult to get. the quest is long. But for Not Forgotten, you have to hit Legend. And a lot of people can't do that. It's really difficult. And I was lucky myself to do it. I had some really nice teammates. So we were able to get to Legend in about 2 nights. Luna's Howl, I like more than Not Forgotten. Higher base stats other than range. And the range doesn't really do much. I have about 450 kills on Luna. And I would say that it is a B tier for being easier to get than the Not Forgotten. But the Not Forgotten, I moved down to C tier because it's so hard to get. And I feel like the grind diminishes the reward because it's not very good. Next we have Jack Queen King. I don't like Jack Queen King. I farmed for it last season with the Imperium Foundation. Don't think it's very good. It's got a lot of PvE perks. PvP, it feels like it just bounces too much. And I just don't like Jack Queen King. It's a 150, so you can use it. But it just feels like I'm walking a bulldog with that thing. It jumps so much and the recoil is like really sporadic. I don't like it. Next we have Waking Vigil. Waking Vigil. I love this Handcannon. I got mine about last week. I already have about 300 kills with it. I don't have an amazing roll. I have Outlaw Slide Shot, so I'm looking for that opening shot. But opening shot, slide shot on this gun is amazing. No damage dealing perks, but it's such a nice dueling weapon because you'll always get that first headshot. So you can just slide around a corner, aim in, and you'll be able to easily get that first headshot, and then it kind of just flows from there. We're in a Waking Vigil meta right now with Astral Horizon, Revoker, and Mountaintop being so strong, especially Revoker and Astral. Astral having a very high OHK, one kill distance, and Revoker being able to return ammo on missed snipes. I'm going to put the Waking Vigil in A tier because we are in a meta right now of 150 energy hand cannons, and that one's very good. So here we have it, our hand cannon tier list for Season of the Worthy. I might do a few, maybe, I don't feel like there's much to do with snipers and shotguns and stuff like that. There are 2 shotguns, Mindbenders and Astral. If you don't have one of those, then what are you using? Sniper, Beloved, and Revoker. So there's not much really I can say in those fronts. SMG, Recluse, all the time. So I feel like this is the only one that's a little bit controversial, as hand cannons are really strong. Might do an auto rifle, because auto rifle 600 RPM is really strong right now. But I hope you found the video informative, and you can go grind for some of these hand cannons right here in A, S, and maybe even B tier. A few of them are pretty good. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching, and stay safe out there, everybody. Don't catch no coronavirus. See you on the flip side.